Hi, I'm BL Ochman, and David Erickson and I want to welcome you to episode 190 of the Beyond Social Media Show. We've got a lot to cover this week because there have been a lot of crazy things going on. Among the things we're going to cover tonight, Apple is augmenting reality, stoner billboards, Vincente Fox trumps Trump, search commerce, Honorable King 45 tweets, NFL back on Twitter, sort of, intercepts reality win or fail, and blocked by Trump, real fake news, your permanent record on the internet. And I always get to start with the first thing on the list, which is the best news of the week. And I think that's Apple's announcement that they are introducing augmented reality on Macs, basically actually on iPhones. And they're late to the game announcing augmented reality initiative. But like one developer says, if Apple gets this right, they'll own the hardware market for years to come. And so what they're introducing is they're introducing something called RKit for developers directly into the core of iOS, and developers can then use those tools to blend entertainment and the real world, and also to create some really important things like medical uses. And we don't even know yet, from medicine to gaming, everything that can happen with augmented reality. What I think is exciting about this is that AR is going to happen through an iPhone, not a headset. Headsets are expensive and they're bulky. And when tech changes as fast as it does, most of us are waiting to see an affordable option. And it's a big idea. Like the smartphone is what I can't think of his first name. Cook told, what's his first name, Dave? Said Tim Cook. Yeah, he said, I get excited because of the things that can be done to improve lives. And so Apple's first public commitment here is usually a game-changing approach, and their involvement is going to push the tech forward. The demos at the conference were kind of crude, but Apple's hoping developers will do the awe-inspiring and useful experiences. So Apple executive Craig Federighi virtually placed and manipulated digital objects like a lamp and a coffee cup on a real-world table in front of him using an iPhone. And then there was another one that showed a sci-fi kind of experience with alien ships raiding an outpost. And Microsoft has HoloLens headsets that add digital graphics to users' real-world surroundings, and Facebook sees AR as a huge potential communications platform. Google's been experimenting with products like Google Glass, your favorite, Dave, and its Tango platform for smartphones, which uses depth sensing to map environments. So obviously companies investing in AR believe it could fundamentally change how we interact with computers. And Chung Nguyen, a principal research analyst at Gartner, said augmented reality is the next stage. It's not going to replace what's around, but it is the next user interface step. Most people are going to have their first interaction with AR through their smartphone, not a special headset. And so rather than this is so cool, rather than turning to YouTube for an instructional video on how to assemble a piece of furniture or change a printer cartridge, which I had to look for yesterday, you might just point your phone at the object and pull up a user manual. If you think of it in the very long run, it's going to seem as natural as everything we do right now. And so I think this is a development that really is going to make a difference and that really matters.
Yeah, I got a bit.
You don't?
I hear an echo. Anyway, I don't necessarily agree. I agree with it and I don't agree with it. I think AR has already been developed for smartphones. So you've got AR apps on smartphones. And if you look at Mary Meeker's report, her trends, one of her big trends is the camera is the new input device, right? Through AR, your camera is going to be able to recognize objects and things and bring you additional information as well. But I really think ultimately the game is a headset, and the headset has to be glasses or contact lenses, something that is as unobtrusive and as unaware. You don't once you put on glasses, you're not necessarily aware that you're wearing them all the time, rather than a headset that's bulky. But I think, you know, the Snapticals or spectacles work. They really work. So I think that's where they need to go to really, for both VR and AR to take off. I've got a friend of mine who does VR development, AR development, coming in tomorrow. I'm going to talk to him, so I'm going to actually ask him about this in particular.
Well,
too,
what I think is significant about this is that everybody already has a phone. It's not like you have to go out and buy something else. And I think once people get hooked on the idea of using this, then yes, glasses, contact lenses, whatever. But first, most people just really don't still know what this is, and that's really significant.
Yeah. So another innovation that was announced last week is Google is starting to put buy buttons on ads. So this is from a Search Engine Journal article by Matt Southern. They've introduced a purchases on Google beta program that allows qualifying merchants to add a buy button to their search ads. Those who qualify can put a buy on Google button at the top of their product ads. So those individual ads you see at the top of some search results, the product listing ads, buyers must use Google Wallet to purchase from it. So it's limited to just people who have Google Wallet. The button will send Google Wallet users to a Google hosted page where the product can be purchased. It's currently only for searches on Android. So those are the only Android operating systems will see the buy button. So it's limited to mobile search, but an interesting development nonetheless. Commerce is becoming, there's less friction now with buy buttons in search results, and definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I've been adding buy buttons to my Facebook posts for fun walkers, and you know, you can pretty much put those everywhere now.
Right.
But onto some fun stuff. This week, King 45 has been the butt of many trending jokes. My favorite one just came out yesterday, and it's had 17 million views on Facebook since it was published yesterday, and 135,000 on YouTube so far. And as Robert Scoble noted, politics is getting funnier and also more painful. So in this video, which comes from Super Deluxe, who puts out, I wasn't aware of them until now, puts out a new video every day. And Vincente Fox, the former president of Mexico, reminds Trump what he could do with all the money he wants to spend on the wall. Things like solve the global crisis in fresh water for 3 years, feed the entire planet for 1 year, and so on. And he notes that he found a way on the dark web that immigrants will deal with the wall. He said it's called a ladder. And he emphasizes, we are not going to pay for the fucking wall. So that was one. And then there was a really hilarious video by Hirai Kaklik too. And this one is really like, it looks like reality. It's King 45 in kindergarten. And we'll put them all on the blog post. They're just really so funny. And then another one that was sent to me by a dear friend who's an opera buff is Real Fake News Opera versus Trump, the Rossini edition. And believe it or not, they sing an aria about all the things they hate about Trump. And then they say, even with so many words, we actually still could not manage to fit in everything we wanted to say about 45. These are really just very, very funny and very, very professionally produced, each of them. And then the last one is there's a viral bot that gives Trump's tweets, quote, the honor they deserve. And this is from a Washington Post story by Abby Olheiser. So when the king was in one of his tweet storms, Kellyanne Conway was on the Today Show criticizing the media for what she called the obsession of covering everything he says on Twitter and very little of what he does as president, which of course is because there is very little that he does as president. But her implication was that Trump's tweets are not news and the media covering them should back off. So it's a position that House Speaker Paul Ryan has aligned himself with in the past. But what the creator of this viral Twitter bot called Real Press Secretary Bot believes he has the answer to it. It's a very straightforward approach. It scans the real Donald Trump account every 5 minutes looking for new tweets. And if it finds one, it puts it in an official presidential statement form and tweets it out. So he says it's taking the president's words and giving them the honor they deserve. If there's any ridiculousness in it, it comes from the words themselves. And when you look at them as official White House statements, which in fact are what they are, they get even more absurd. So, yeah.
So puts it on White House letterhead. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, he puts them on White House letterhead and makes them official statements from the White House, because that is what they are. I mean, that's what they are.
Yeah, well, let's get the Trump stuff out of the way. So here's my Trump story. And this is in best simply because I find it a very fascinating legal question that's unresolved. This is from a Verge article by Adai Robertson. There's a Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University that has argued in a letter that Trump's Twitter account is a public forum. And by banning users from viewing or engaging with his tweets, which he does, it suppresses free speech. So that's their argument. The president, this is a quote from Jamil Jaffer, who's the executive director of the organization. The president must not be allowed to banish views from public discourse simply because he finds them objectionable. Having opened this forum to all comers, the president can't exclude people from it merely because he dislikes what they're saying. So the Knight Institute letter cites the cases of Holly O'Reilly and Joseph M. Papp, two Twitter users who were blocked by Trump's Real Donald Trump account after mocking and criticizing him. The Institute letter refers to both Real Donald Trump account and the lesser used POTUS accounts, both of which serve as platforms for Trump to make official statements, as you've noted. White House press secretary indeed said, Sean Spicer said that Trump's tweets were official statements by the president of the United States. So there's that supporting evidence. Clearly, this is untested legal territory. We've never had a president yet who has personally tweeted and as frequently and as controversial as this one has. But if the administration doesn't address the question, the Knight Institute says they are prepared to, that the White House should be prepared to face legal action to protect the First Amendment rights of blocked. The Knight Institute will protect the First Amendment rights of the blocked individual. So fascinating legal question that is unresolved and likely will be resolved. But it also, interestingly, basically it makes the argument that Twitter is a public utility.
Well, in fact, it is, but I think that is pretty clear to people who use it, and especially because what he's doing is so outrageous that he can't do it under the radar. That's all there is.
Well, blocking people, I knew that he blocked people. I didn't find it outrageous. I assumed he was going to block people. I never thought of it in terms of this argument that they're posing. And I don't know that I necessarily agree with them, but I think it's a fascinating, and it's certainly an unresolved legal argument, and I'm just interested in finding out what the outcome will be.
I am as well. Today, during the Comey testimony, there was so much interest in the Harvard Law School blog, a website, that it crashed. I mean, I think everybody was looking for their comments, but I think that brings us to better news. Or actually, no, I don't think this is good at all. This is the worst news.
Okay, don't go into worse news, because I got some better stuff.
Oh, good. Yet. Tell us some better stuff.
So this is from a Huffington Post article by Julie Thompson. There's a McDonald's franchise on the New Mexico-Colorado border that has put up a billboard promoting its green chili best breakfast burritos. And the billboard reads, wait for it, "Usually when you roll something this good, it's illegal!" Exclamation point. Pot, of course, is not legal in New Mexico. It is in Colorado. And the corporate's response, McDonald's corporate response, was this local franchise billboard does not meet our standards and is being taken down.
Oh, too bad.
So
really too bad.
And my favorite best story is from our favorite Sarah Perez from TechCrunch about this. Actually was reported a while ago, but I left it out because it could wait. We had other stuff to talk about previous weeks, but the NFL is not vanishing from Twitter. I was, as you've heard me talk about it, rather dismayed that Amazon got the account for broadcasting or live streaming the NFL on Thursday night games on Amazon Prime, because I liked Twitter doing it so much last season. I like the ability to tweet and comment on the game side by side while watching the video. But not all is not lost, because Twitter, though they lost the right to stream the NFL Thursday night games, they won't be bereft of NFL video. According to the NFL, Twitter will stream official NFL video and other content to fans year-round, including a new 30-minute live digital show that will air on Twitter 5 nights a week during football season. A show will be hosted by NFL Network talent and will focus on covering breaking news, game highlights, key storylines, fantasy projections, team power rankings, pre-game updates, and more. In addition to live game coverage, will include Periscope broadcasts like play warm-ups, which I assume refers to pre-game practice plays that the teams do. So don't quite know what play warm-ups means, but there you have it. Sideline interviews designed to give fans and behind-the-scenes access to teams on game days. So I'm very happy with that.
We're going to know where to find you at night,
Exactly.
Okay, so is that it for good
Yes.
news?
Yes,
Well, there was some really disturbing bad news this week, and that was the way that Intercept, the website, handled Reality Winner's leak, and they did nothing whatsoever to protect the information. And every single website, news media website now, has a way for you to anonymously report leaks and to protect yourself. And so they published the bombshell story that the top secret NSA report details Russian hacking effort days before 2016 election was the headline. The story was confirmed by CBS, and it revealed that Russian military intelligence executed a cyber attack on at least one U.S. voting software supplier and sent phishing emails to more than 100 local election officials just days before last November's election. And this was from a highly classified document obtained by Intercept, and the story included a PDF of the report. And by Monday evening, Reality Lee Winner, which her name is just the deepest thing yet, who's a 25-year-old federal contractor, was charged with leaking the documents. And if she was the source, there's questions about whether they could have done more to protect her, starting with the PDFs, because the PDFs include apparently a matrix of microdots that are called printer steganography, I can't pronounce it, that could be used to trace the printer back to its source. And a developer at Document Cloud, whose name is Ted Hani, said that Intercept should not have embedded the PDF in its story, and some of the pages were creased, and that also helped them to find out where it came from. And so the microdots can be used to track the printer source. And the journalist Barton Gellman, who led the Washington Post Pulitzer Prize-winning coverage of the NSA in 2013 and 2014, offered a whole tweet stream about what they did wrong. And it just seems like a good example of how not to handle leaks. And now this young woman is going to pay for it.
Yeah, just the name. I can't get over the name Reality Winner. I keep expecting hashtag free reality to trend. Kind of a double entendre if you think about it.
It is. I mean, of all places for this to show up, it really is incredible. But it's a really sad story, because they're going to scapegoat her, and God knows what they're going to do to her. And she just did not expect that, because she thought she was making an anonymous leak. So who jumps to her defense but Edward Snowden? It's a mess.
Well, here's the internet is a permanent record. So here's a story about that. This is from the Washington Post's Samantha Schmidt. So back when I was in high school and got in trouble, and those fairly frequently. The predictable refrain from teachers and incidents over an incident that I gotten myself into would be, "This is going on your permanent record," right? Capital P, capital R. That thankfully was before the internet. Now the internet actually is the permanent record. And so some Harvard wannabes recently discovered that. There's a Facebook messaging group called Harvard Memes for Horny Bourgeois Teens. It was started by about 100 members of Harvard's class of incoming freshmen who contacted each other through the university's official class of 2021 Facebook group. And the messaging group allowed students to share memes about popular culture, but the exchange took a dark turn, according to an article that published in the Harvard Crimson, when some of the group's members decided to form an offshoot group in which the students would share obscene R-rated memes. The founders of the offshoot messaging group demanded that students post provocative memes in the main group's chat to gain admittance to the offshoot group. Students in the offshoot group exchanged memes and images that mock sexual assault, the Holocaust, deaths of children, sometimes directing jokes at specific ethnic or racial groups. University officials caught on, and in mid-April, after administrators discovered the offensive exchanges, at least 10 incoming students who participated in the chat received letters informing that their offers of admission had been revoked.
Big surprise there.
Yeah. College meme groups on Facebook apparently have become institutions among Ivy League students. Some even refer to the craze as the college meme wars. Groups have been popping up on campuses. Harvard has mentioned, Columbia, Princeton, Penn, Yale, Dartmouth, University of Berkeley has one, California, Berkeley. According to Kaplan Test Prep, which surveyed more than 350 college admission officers, 35% of admission officers said they check social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to learn more about applicants. About 42% of those officials said what they found had a negative impact on prospective students. So yes, permanent record.
Don't you wonder what they were thinking when they started to do? I mean, that sounds like 4chan, you know, and some of the Reddit things that go on. I mean, that's
well, it makes me wonder. I mean, these are Harvard students that have been accepted to Harvard.
Right.
Presumably, there's two things. One, they're the elite. They're going to be running the country, right? They're going to be
what they want to do in their spare time. Yeah.
And the attitudes that you have by exchanging those types of memes says something about them. Sure and does. Then two, maybe it says that their education isn't all that. You know, maybe they don't know about history. Maybe they don't know.
Maybe they don't know about the present either.
No, there's that too.
I mean, that's really scary. But, you know, there's just so little, like, I don't know what people think before they post things. I assume they get caught up in the moment and they don't think, because there'd be no explanation for today, Keith Olbermann, who has had his issues with not thinking before saying things. He, when John McCain was asking questions of Comey, he seemed very confused and sort of out of it. And people were saying, you know, is he okay? Did he have a stroke? I mean, what's wrong with him? And Keith Olbermann said, give that man some Red Bull. And then his next tweet was, I'm sorry I said that. But, you know, he said that. And like you just said, the internet is your permanent record. I mean, it's just, I don't know what people think. I do try to think before I post. So that brings us to shiny objects, right?
It does indeed, yes.
Okay, so there's a list of the best designed apps of 2017 that were chosen by Apple, and among them, notably, Enlight, the Photoshop for mobile photography. It's $4 in the App Store, but the reviews of it are really great, and that's what I have.
All right, well, here's another list. This is Article Performance Leaderboard list. This is from it tests which Hearst newspaper websites have the fastest load time. Load time is incredibly important for web developers when they're designing pages. That's one of the main things that they pay attention to, but also for search visibility, because that's one of the main criteria by which Google will determine whether to where to place your site in search results, because Google wants everybody to have a good experience. And if your page takes forever to load, that's not a good experience. So this is the result of, this is what Hearst has done, is put together a leaderboard that shows their site's load times. It runs twice daily. It was originally an internal testing tool that they'd made public. Mobile tested over a 3G connection. The score reflects load time, speed index, number of requests, page size, and when it was visually complete. So if you're a web developer or even just interested in seeing sites that load quickly, this is a good resource. We'll put a link to that in the show notes. Do you have another one, Bill?
I don't.
Okay, so I've got one more.
Okay.
And like that one, this is kind of geeky too.
I like your geeky ones.
This is called GM Tools. It's a tool that was developed by Simo Ahava, who publishes a popular Google Tag Manager blog. So anybody, it's essential reading for anybody who does Google Tag Manager. What you do is it's a website, a web app. You grant the tool access to your Google account on which you use Tag Manager, and then it allows you, if you're somebody who uses Tag Manager like me, Tag Manager is basically tags, and you've got triggers that make the tags fire, and you've got variables that determine stuff, and those three components make up what you measure on Google Tag Manager. But if you manage a bunch of sites like I do with Google Tag Manager, then you're repeating the same things over and over and over again. And this tool allows you to import a set of tags from one site into another, so you don't have to redo your work all the time. It's a huge time saver. The site is GTM, Google Tag Manager, gtmtools.com, and we'll put a link to that and Simo Ahava's blog on the show notes as well. And BL, you
wait. I have a request for an app.
Okay.
I wish that somebody would make an app that would help us to pronounce the names of people that we are trying to read, because we don't have anybody to do that because we're podcasters.
You know what app that is?
What?
YouTube. How to pronounce, paste in the name, and usually there's a YouTube video for that.
Oh, God. Yeah, we're going to do that for every one of the stories. So, yeah, I had a fun thing happen this week. I got quoted in Muck Rack, which is
that's very cool.
Yeah, they quoted me because I said, can't somebody take King 45's phone away from him so he can't tweet? And they quoted that as my solution to the Trump Twitter problem. And I read Muck Rack every day, and they have like just wonderful insight into things. So I was flabbergasted to see my name there, and also very happy.
That's awesome. So let's wrap this up. Daily numbers. This is Snapchat users by age. I guess I'm one of them now that I have spectacles and I'm snapping stuff. But this is from ComScore data. Close to half of Snapchat's adult audience was age 35 and older as of December 2016. That's marking a dramatic change from a year earlier. The report indicates that 53.4% of the platform's audience was aged 18 to 34 in December, down from 76% a year earlier. So the demographics of Snapchat apparently are changing rapidly.
Sounds like it's not cool with kids anymore.
No, because that remains the heaviest use skew of the various platforms measured. So if you want to reach young users, then Snapchat's still the place to go to.
Okay. I'm in the older category there. So you want to wrap this up for us, Dave?
Let's do. Thanks for watching episode number 190 of the Beyond Social Media Show. We have links to everything that we talked about on the BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/190. Let us know what you think by going BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/love. And from there, you can leave us a review. And you can find BL on Twitter at What's Next. Her blog is what'snextblog.com. Her YouTube channel is What's Next Blog. BL, what's your new venture is?
My new venture is Fun Walkers, which is www.funwalkers.com.
And you can buy awesome.
Wait, we had our first sale.
Right.
And our first sale was somebody customized, these are license plates for walkers and rollators and scooters, mobility devices, and somebody did a Father's Day gift that said, "Caution, dances on tables."
That's awesome. Great. So you can buy those there and do so for all your friends and family. And you can find me on Twitter. I'm at D. Erickson. My blog is d-strategyblog.com. I also blog for our agency's blog at creativepr.com/blog. And the website, you can find us on BeyondSocialMediaShow.com. We're on YouTube at Beyond Social Media Show. We're on Twitter at BS Media Show. You can hear us on iTunes, on Stitcher, on iHeartRadio, on Google Play Music. We're all over the place. Just search for us. Until next week.
We would especially appreciate if you would follow us on iTunes and leave us a review there. That would be really great. And we'll be back next week, same time, same channel. And we thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for watching.